guys, it's Brittany, and today's video is a scary story about an imaginary friend. Now, I have made a video on my channel about summoning your imaginary friend. It's this ritual that you can do to summon your imaginary friend from childhood. I unfortunately never had an imaginary friend, and I always find the topic of imaginary friends with children to be quite interesting because, you know, they could actually be someone that the child made up in their heads, or it could be something paranormal. So they aren't really seeing something that's not really there. They actually are seeing something that is there that we can't see. And I think that is so terrifying, but so interesting. I believe that 90% of the time children claim to have imaginary friends, it's actually a ghost. It could be like a family member or that they didn't know, or somebody. I believe 90% of the time is something paranormal, which I think is so crazy. But you know how children are more sensitive to seeing things, you know? So it's so interesting to me. So this story is all about a little girl who has an imaginary friend by the name of Harry. So I know, Harry Potter, I got my Slytherin thing on again. This is actually the same day that I'm filming my Black Doll Urban Legend video, so I had to wear this for this because it reminded me of Harry Potter, and you guys know I am Draco Malfoy, the girl version of Draco Malfoy, so. And I'm so hot right now, guys. Like, I am sweating, so I'm sorry if I'm all oily. I do have my highlight on, so I think it's kind of making me even more, you know, bling bling. I'm going all crazy, so I hope that's not a problem. So getting into the story, so there was a mother, and she had a 5-year-old daughter. So I'm gonna name the 5-year-old daughter Hermione, just because. So she, you know, was watching Hermione from inside, and Hermione was just playing outside, and she could hear her talking to somebody, and she didn't know who she was talking to. So Hermione then comes in the house, and then her mom was like, "Who are you talking to?" And Hermione was like, "Harry." And her mother was like, "Harry who?" And Hermione was like, "Just Harry." Later that evening, her husband came home and she was explaining the whole situation, saying Hermione was talking to somebody outside, but I did not see them, and it gave me the heebie-jeebies. And he was like, you know, it's okay for children to have imaginary friends, but something about the name Harry was really bothering her. It gave her a shiver down her spine. Just Harry Potter. That's not Harry Potter, I wish it was, but just Harry. Every time she thought about it, it was really bothering her, would keep her up at night, because she's like, who the heck is Harry? So it was the next day, and the mother, you know, she was just kind of watching Hermione playing outside again from the kitchen window, and she heard Hermione talking to someone once again. And she kind of was looking, and she saw a black shadowy figure, but she thought maybe her eyes were playing tricks on her. The shadowy figure looked like a human, but she was like, wait, you know, this whole Harry thing is just making me go crazy. So she started tapping on the window, and she told Hermione to come back inside. So she's knocking on the window, and she's like, Hermione, please come inside. And Hermione's like, can Harry come too? Can he come inside, please? And she's like, no, Harry can stay outside, but he's hungry, Hermione said. And the mother was like, who is Harry? And Hermione was like, he's my brother. The mother was like, you don't have a brother. And Hermione was like, yes, I do. His name is Harry. And the mother was like, who told you that? And Hermione was like, Harry told me. This started to freak out the mother like crazy, and every single day, Hermione was in the backyard talking to Harry, talking to him. And she was just getting so freaked out. She was like, okay, maybe it's just an imaginary friend. You know, children go through this. I'm hoping that's what it is. Just the name Harry freaks me out. It got way too much for the mother, so she was like, okay, I am going to bring my daughter to see a psychiatrist. So the psychiatrist told the mother it is so normal for little children to have imaginary friends. So normal. She was telling the mother, you know, once Hermione is in school, she'll forget all about this imaginary friend named Harry, and she will make some real friends. So the mother, she was like, okay, that kind of made me feel better. I hope that's what's gonna happen, but I still get the heebie-jeebies from this Harry imaginary friend. So as she was leaving the psychiatrist, you know, she felt a little better about the situation in some sense, but she really wanted to get down to the bottom of this whole situation about Harry. So she decided to, go into the city and go to the orphanage where she adopted Hermione. She wanted to know more about her history, get right down to the bottom of her history. She made it to the orphanage, and when she knocked on the door, a lady answered and let her in and was just saying to her, I need to know more about my daughter Hermione. She wanted to know all about Hermione's birth parents. She wanted to know where they were today, if they had died, what they died from. The woman at the orphanage said unfortunately she could not give out that information. The mother was so stressed out and she was like, please, begging. She was basically on her knees saying, please, I need to find out about Hermione's past, about her history. There's something going on and I need to know. So she kept begging and begging. Finally, the woman at the orphanage gave in and was like, okay, fine. The lady told the mother, this has to strictly stay between you and me. And the mother was like, that's fine, that is totally fine. I just need to know more about her parents and just about her old life. So the lady continued saying that Hermione was born into a very poor family. Her birth parents were drug addicts and they neglected her every day. They did not want Hermione. The house that they lived in was so disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And one night the parents got into a huge argument, which then led to the father grabbing a knife and stabbing his wife, like Hermione's mother, to death. He stabbed her so much that he ended up cutting off her head. The mother's just listening like, holy crap, I had no idea. And the lady continued saying as the police came, the whole thing was over. Hermione was found outside in her brother's arms. After the father stabbed the mother, he went after the children, and luckily Hermione was completely fine, but her brother was stabbed to death, and before he died, he was able to take Hermione to safety, so he was still holding her. That's so sad, they were just outside, she's in his arms, but he was dead. So the mother died and the brother died, and they found the body of the father. He took his life after killing the mother and the brother. So Hermione's mother now, like her adoptive mother, she is just listening to the story and her eyes are getting all watery. She is scared. Her voice is kind of trembling when she's asking the question, what was Hermione's brother's name? And she knew the answer. She knew that that lady was going to say Harry. She just knew. And she was, her heart fell to her stomach, even though the lady hasn't said it yet. So she just kept saying, please tell me the name of Hermione's brother. The woman then said his name was Harry, and the mother just, it was like the whole world stopped. Time stopped. She was speechless. Her heart fell into her stomach. She lost her balance. She felt like she was in a nightmare. She was terrified about everything. Like she had no idea, and just, confirming that her brother's name really was Harry, and now she doesn't really have an imaginary friend. The person that she's seeing is her brother. Like the person that Hermione is seeing is her actual brother who was fatally stabbed and protected Hermione from the father. Before I got into all this craziness at the orphanage and everything, I feel like this is the movie Orphan or something, but obviously Hermione isn't bad. She's good, but I just, like that twist right there and how crazy that was. It was like the movie Orphan, but it was like a totally different thing. But before I got into this, I don't think I said this, but the mother dropped Hermione off at school. So you know how the psychiatrist said when she's in school, because she was just about to start school, that she would forget all about her imaginary friends. So that day that she went to the orphanage, she dropped her daughter Hermione off at school and then went to the orphanage that day. So when she left the orphanage after, hearing this crazy story that Hermione really does have a brother named Harry, she, it was about 3 o'clock, school was about to get out, so she went back to the school to pick up Hermione. She was a bit late getting to the school, so as soon as she got there, she ran inside, down the hallway, into the classroom and said, I'm so sorry that I'm late, where is Hermione? I'm here to pick her up. And the teacher was like, Hermione? She's gone. The mother was like, gone? What do you mean, gone? And the teacher was like, yeah, her brother picked her up a few minutes ago. And that is the story about Harry, the imaginary friend. So, Hermione is missing. And that's basically the end of the story. I mean, it doesn't say what happens after that. You know, it's always just ending like that in these stories. So I don't know where Hermione is. I don't know where her brother took her. I don't know if Hermione's dead and now she's in heaven with her brother. But I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Let me know if you've ever had an imaginary friend when you were younger, or if you know somebody, like if you are a mother, you have a daughter who has an imaginary friend, or if you have a younger cousin, a younger sister, a younger brother, a niece, a nephew, anybody. If you're a teacher and your students have imaginary friends, let me know your experience with people's imaginary friends, or if you've ever had an imaginary friend. So let me know down below. I've never had an imaginary friend. So anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you rock my world in the song lyrics of Michael Jackson. Hashtag team Brittany44, hashtag brother friends, hey. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.